the new from yesterday, last night. I mean yesterday. This one, 36 point. Six gigs. Understeer. I knew it was gonna happen. That's good. Good. So I want to try to take first place in every track. So we have this type of tick. Okay. Ah, doesn't need to. You win the championship, it will tick. Doesn't matter. Alright. So first place is 10. Second is 8. And adds it. Problem is there's no clutch to kick the one more. The mark on the map on this track is really small. I hit the wrong pattern. 8th place. Last place. And last second row. Lead car is really far. The lead car really far. Kinda hard. Let's take second place. B6. Okay. Nice. Yeah, really fast. Fast flow track. Okay. Benq. Mugello. Mugello. Not intended. Could you help me? How are you? Need to focus. Hello. Better line. From Brazilian. Ah. Nice. Hola, hola. Hola? Might be wrong. Come on. Keeping up with the aggressive. All right. Came yesterday. No, I'm using Logitech controller. F310 Logitech. Oh shit. I lost focus. But you can get like third place. I'm using a Logitech controller. Yeah, nice. You got the new wheel. I got G27, but it's outdated. I mean, the gear kind of broken a little bit, so I tried to play with controller and try to tweak stuff here and there, and then it's good. Also can drift using controller, but I don't know if it's good enough to tandem. So yeah. For wheel, you just need to adjust the feedback. Really good feedback will help and control the car much better. Yeah, there's also a lot of mod. So you can register yourself at race department, or you know, some group in Facebook or website. So yeah, then you can download mod and all the car that free. ASSETTO CORSA is really good, to be honest. And then the community is still active. And then you doesn't need super high-end PC like graphic card to play ASSETTO CORSA nowadays. If I can get second place or first place, last lap, let's try to push. Push. This Ayrton Senna throttle control technique. lot of good racer in Brazilian, to be honest. Especially F1 driver. Right, one. The fuel kind of safe. The fuel finish at the last straight. I don't know how. I use Logitech F310. This one. Hold on. I'll show you. This one. I use this controller, Logitech F310 gamepad. It's really good for PC. I mean, I use it for like 5 years, and then after that it's broken. The rubber inside kind of torn, and then I buy a new one. So this is like the second the new one that I have. Buy it last year. So yeah. But I got 153 1 second faster and 0.7. That's good. Now it's 96. Oh no. Never in GP. At left. Might doable. I just tried. If not, I will drop it to 95. Because the higher the AI level, the more aggressive they become. It's like when you try to overtake, they will try to defend it and even like bump you up so you thrown off the track. It's a problem with AI in ASSETTO CORSA, but it can be. I think some people think the new ASSETTO CORSA competition have better AI. It gives you way when you are much faster. I think like you guys saw that it's much smoother. So 96, 95, 96 is okay, but you need to be considerate like what I do in the last track. Right. they're so aggressive. They just hit you at the back. But they didn't care. The AI. it's like really aggressive. Once you kind of like race with this AI a lot, you will know what they do, kind of like. Have the tendency not to give way. At certain situation. Just a breeze, no problem anymore. Now I keep my focus. I see good. Okay. I can drift after like a lot of racing in carrier. I got the mechanical in my brain, in my muscle, so I can feel how the car slide, like the characteristic of the game using controller. So you need to hold, I mean, there will be like no problem for you because you know how to roll stick and stuff. So I have the advanced gaming advanced controller ASSETTO kinda, so I can send that to you, the file, then you can try to tweak a little bit here and there. I'm sure you can drift like me without any problem, but it's kind of tiring because we holding the stick like 24/7, you know. And then I'm using the AE86. It's a DLC car, so mod car will be much easier compared to the A86. So yeah. File? No, it's not a file. It's more like for controller. ASUS. The new one, you know, the new. I mean, people make so it can be used by controller, right? So yeah. Yeah, I will send to you like after. I wait for you to kind of like go into the stream or message, then I can send it to you afterward. So the feeling is like pretty much like overdrift, but a little bit harder. It's not overdrift. How to explain it? It's like I mean, it's harder than any drifting game out there because this is like simulation, right? But it's not impossible. It's not that hard because I know you know how to do the rolling stick. You don't tap it like this. You see, when you tap, the car is wobble like that. You know, the car will, when you tap, it will disrupt the car. You see, so you need to hold the roll, like, you know. Assume it's like we're using a wheel, but it's much more forgiving compared to back then. So yeah. Yeah, macro steering, kinda. But in the straight like this, we can release it without problem. So when I drift, it's kinda, sometimes you can just hold it at that angle, like you are drifting using wheel. Just hold it. So drifting much less tiring compared to racing. Because racing, we keep changing our steering movement, right? For the line and stuff like that. But in drifting, you can just lock in at certain angle. Doesn't need to be like full lock to lock, but at that, you know, sweet spot for your setup. And then you can lock there and then try to use throttle control to adjust the angle and adjust the line, right? So I'm sure you, because you kind of like pretty much know how to control the angle and line without adjusting the wheel. That's our skill, right? Our skill is like, our level is at that level, so it's not that hard, and then it's less tiring compared to racing. Racing, it's pretty much tiring, your finger, but once you get used to it, you'll be fine. Because I play MotoGP a lot. So MotoGP, you need to roll the stick a lot. Because you know MotoGP, right? Motorbike. You know motorbike. Because if you don't roll, the bike will just lean like crazy, and then, you know, you need to control the lean, right? The lean of the bike. So because I play MotoGP a lot, it's easy for me to roll the stick without problem. The key is, if someone like a beginner try to drifting in ASSETTO CORSA, even with this ASSIS, if they don't know how to use a rolling stick, so the key for them to learn is by just buy a MotoGP game, or kind of like buy a demo or something, or just download a demo of MotoGP and then try to do a lap at certain track using just rolling the stick, right? So yeah, it worked for me, to be honest. And then if you see my replay, it doesn't look like I'm using a wheel. I'm using controller. It's one-to-one, like I'm using wheel. If people doesn't see that controller display, they will thought that, oh, you're using wheel, but you're using the third-person cam, kind of like that, you know. So it's really good. The gamepad ASUS nowadays. And then I'm looking forward to, I mean, we can tandem, to be honest. I want to try that with the AC car. Doesn't matter the AC car or like you know, official car like BMW or something. I want to tandem, but currently I don't have anyone that uses controller that kind of like to practice with me, and then, you know, so I can learn like the weakness, like what we need to do, we need to tweak for the to make we drift better using controller, right? Yeah. Just download. It's like super. It's not, the space is like super low. So, and then I try to drift like alone. It's kind of like fine. It's like no problem. You see, even though I uh, using controller now, I still can get a really good time. 2.03. I mean, wheel, if I'm using wheel, I can get better time than this. Few seconds better because wheel is much more precise, but it's close enough because I didn't using controller that long. If I using controller for 1 year, or you know how I am, like when I'm just like for a few months, yeah, it might doable to be as fast as wheel. It depends on the way that we practice. So yeah, 50 GB with you have all the DLC, right? Can you just download the Japanese pack DLC? Oh, cannot. Because if you just download the game, it's not that big. See, I only got. Hold on, let me check my Steam. Setting library, wait, storage. You see this? This I only got 29. The game Assetto Corsa and Japanese pack, plus the Dream Pack one for Nürburgring, right? Right. So I only got that Japanese pack, and then the Dream Pack one for Nürburgring for the Nurb. Uh, let's see. That's that too. This one, the Dream Pack one, because Nürburgring. And then the Japanese pack, just that. It's only 29 gig. Yeah, 30, yeah. Try to Google it, man. I also don't know. I also don't know how. I also play with WGT Golf. But I don't know if we can play this multiplayer. We can, right? Add friend or something. It's kind of funny, but kind of chill. Yeah, like when your hands kind of tired, fingers tired. When I'm kind of like playing guitar, uh, racing, drifting and stuff. So we continue this side. Let me send you the on Discord. Discord. Send you the file. The file is this one. Um, you just put it on. Where should I put it? TFG maybe. Um, apps and extension. So this is the file. So you just drag this one. So advanced gamepad assist v1.5.5. So you just drag this app and extension, because in ASSETTO CORSA we have that uh, apps and extension. This one, app and extension. So you just drag here, and then you're done. Drag this to another, drag it here, and then we are done. So it's super simple. And then I will on the game. For that I will send you that thing. Where UK? Ah, this. Wait. You people. I didn't see your name. Oh. Ah, yeah. I will send the file to you. So that mm, and then I also put this I also use this, but I think it doesn't that much make much a difference. One that make much difference is that advanced gamepad IC. I also have this one, you know, uh, the this is like file from the GT3 high speed and stuff. Road car and then drift, but this doesn't make that much of a difference. It's I'm using drift. This one, right, drift. So the sensitivity and stuff is just like that. So it doesn't make that much of a difference. So default will be like this, right? Put a mouse, gamepad, let's say. See that this is default. So mine is more like that. Sensitivity, the staying speed, but this is what we call it. This is personal preference, but rumble effect always 0 because we don't want that for drifting. If you're using wheel, it's pretty much the same. So sometimes if the car is way too sensitive, you just drop it a little bit by bit. So yeah. So this is and then this is like same like my setting for um KX and other drifting games that I use. So I can use different keybind too, like the one that I use for racing. But this one is much easier for me to like drop the wheel while hitting the clutch. So it's like how it is. So you just adjust that within my setup, and after that, all you do is like the this one, the traction control, just off it. I think A86 doesn't have traction control, I think. And then highway everything is like a pro setup. So other thing doesn't need to change. Uh, yeah, I think that's how it is. So if I want to tandem, I'll be like hot lap. It'll be like ghost car. I can do the hot lap tandem door to door with my ghost car, like what the same like in car X, pretty much the same. So we have that option too, right? So yeah, all you do just go. I didn't try other car yet. Maybe after this, and then the gear and everything is up to you. I if the car doesn't have like really much what we call it torque, then you buff up more real tire PSI. This is like same like real life, right? So it is like I think you know how set up in real life. So in KX is different. We use lower tire at the back because the game is mechanical built like that. So this one is built like real life. So the same tire PSI or a little bit higher at the back. The car still get more angle. Depends on the car characteristic. So you can drop the rear tire PSI too a little bit, but it will make call it, to make the car get a little bit more angle, pretty much the same, but not that high. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's not that hard. I think you can done it, okay, without problem. I mean, I can. If I can, you also can. That's pretty much how it is. I'm sure the mod car will be much easier. And then you can adjust the camera, right? Yeah. I ban people like putting Discord. Not ban, kind of like, if people type Discord, they be like in question. Because people always spam me like, join Discord, this Discord, you know. It's every time the bot. Like, I kind of like, and then it pop out in my message, right? It's kind of like they're promoting something. Yeah, right. While at the same time it pop out in my video, my stream message, and then if they're promoting something out from that too, so it will appear the same, right? So I just put Discord as a sensitive word, and then it doesn't promote the chat. You get what I mean? Makes sense, right? So you can so you on it by this. You see on the right side, they're like advanced gamepad assist, right? So this one. So you need to go with this and then try to find, it's like on top of it, like advanced gamepad assist config. So you just click that, and then this will pop out. After that, you doesn't need to recalibrate or something. So, or you can use recalibrate. It doesn't need to, because it said that automatically when the car spawn. So yeah, and then show preset, this one like that, and then you can use the drift, loose, stable, default. For me, I just use the outer preference, and then I can drift. I'm not even use drifting setup, because my level is like, I mean, it's not that hard for me, so I didn't need to use the drifting preset. I mean, I don't know, it worked for me that way, but someone that still learning might put drift or something around that. And then the adjustment for your, you need the content manager, the one that I showed you earlier. And then I think I need to message you that too, so you can play around with that. And after that, it will on, and then you just click that again, and then you're done. And then we also can change the dash cam and then put it like on top like this. So it's like hood cam. Also good for tandem if the car is if it'll awkward in dashboard cam. Yeah. Sitting for game. So yeah, we can do that, but I'm not really comfortable using this cam, to be honest. I'm kind of like much more comfortable using the interior cam, but you know, doesn't matter anyway, because when we tandem we can variety which one is feel much better. So yeah. And then I need to send you the... I forgot how to remove this pop out on the left side. I think there's like some keybind, Control F or something. Alternate. I don't know. I forgot. Alternate or control. I think you can find that. Setting will have. I don't know setting will have or not. So it's simple as that. You see the car movement? You see that? If people doesn't see my controller display, they might thought I'm using wheel. I'm pretty sure they think I'm using wheel. Look like Ike. Yeah. Right? So it's doable. But you need to roll the stick. So yeah. You cannot like we cannot tap it. If I try to tap it, it doesn't work as much. See that? I mean, it's okay, but it's not good. Doesn't smooth enough, and tendency to guide. SC is go back to center. Yes, it's go back to center. Because that's how wheel is, right? In real life. So like if you tap it, it will come like that. So it's not really good. So if you tap, I mean it kind of like lock too at some point. But if you tap it like this, it will like at some point it look. you see it, but it's doable, but it's not practical. And then in the replay, it's also look ugly. What we call it? Look kind of that. Yeah, not smooth. More like but some is good. But it's not smooth enough. More like the car twitching like way too much. But that's how it is. But it's doable. But the rolling is much better, much smoother. I don't know if I can send you my my thing, this thing, the drift hell setup. I can. So you put this in CFG controller. So put this in CFG controller, and then you change it to your name, drift A or something. I'm gonna send it. This is for drifting, but you can readjust it. Wait, why it's like that? Ah. Oh no. Oh, so you just download it. Okay, okay. So this one is for me that I racing earlier. For racing. So yeah. Control Q. Ah, yeah, yeah. Control Q. Control Q. Yeah, yeah. I forgot. Like, you know, didn't play this game like for so long. It just like 5 years, 6 years. I mean, I played like a few times, like last year, last 2 year, but you just hop in and then just use the wheel and then just drift a little bit and then you're done. Kind of like I don't have mood to stay long in the game. So yeah. But now kind of like it's doable. Uh, you know. When you're done, let's see. Let me know. Oh yeah, yeah, nice. That's good. We can. I mean, I'm looking forward to do some tandem, man. Like doesn't matter. They also like Supra Drift, and we can download mod car and the map. So it's let's try to use the Supra and see it doable using controller. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. It's always like really good if so the tire everything is pretty much I'm using Street 90s. Street 90s is the best because it's like 90 ADH, right? So semi-slick and street more like if you try to going to be fast. So but it's not important. So yeah. So and then 2021. Yeah. And then you need to on the neck effect. Okay. The neck FX is let me drift this. 2021. Yeah, I mean the last time I play is around that 2 maybe or 22 or 23 kinda. because I use the. You remember that I buy the graphic card and build up my PC and then use the triple screen. That's when I start to play ASSETTO CORSA again, but it's like my CPU cannot handle it, but my graphic card can handle it. Kind of big there. All right. See this guy? This is the first time I drift Supra, the 2JZ using controller. And then the way I use 2JZ, you know, I mean everyone know that how I use 2JZ is the same like Naoki Nakamura used 2JZ or Daigo Saito used 2JZ, right? You just riff it really high and then try to hit the limiter. I mean that's how we drift 2JZ, not like the way people drift 2JZ in Kayak is weird. They just make it low like this and then just stay like that, like come on. You not even boost up the car, like I'm letting SC na. It's really good, okay? You see it? Then I throw it. Come on. This is like really fun. And then the setting and stuff is super realistic. Try simulator. See the smoke? Yeah. It is crazy. This is my first time drifting this car with controller. So it's just, see how it goes. And then the tire not warm up yet, so there's no smoke. And then we can see the tire from the left. You can put it. It's like you can turn it on, like in all apps. Just on the developer apps, tick it, and you'll be fine. Yeah. Because it's like pretty common, I think. See that guy? Huh. And the car still stock, man. It's not even like the VDC car or the mod car. It's not even my mod. So yeah. See how it sway? Like nothing much better than this compared to Car X in another game, right? It's super realistic because it's simulator. The way it sways is like really good. it's really good, man. It's the feel that you're drifting in this game is so much better than Car X and Car X Street and Overdrift and a lot of like drifting game. Yeah, you because the tire grip is kind of realistic. You know, like I mean, you drive in real life, right? I also the same, and I also riding a bike. So when you riding a corner, like when it's a hot day, you can feel the grip, so you can lean the bike much more, right? So that kind of grip, you can feel it in this game compared to in Car X and other game. So because it depends on the tire, on the when the tire is warm up or the tire is kind of like cold. So it depends on your the situation of the track too. If the track is like this, if the track is I don't know, this is like fast or something. Uh, the thing. So the map kind of like you can also change this to be fast and stuff like that, right? So yeah, you can feel it. Yeah, it's AC. So it's fun. It's fun in term of compared to other game. It's not fun like you can drift it. It's not like that. It's fun because you can feel the car much more compared to other game we play. I mean, it's simulator, it's not arcade, right? But you need skill level like certain level to drift it. But I mean, it's possible for me. I'm sure it's possible for others too. Because if I can, like I said in my message, if I can, everyone can. It's matter of the line like much better. If I drifting the line much better, angle much better, the speed is much better. But in the end, what you want to do is the drifting, right? Not about line, it's not about angle. Like you having fun drifting. That's the the main thing of this one. Playing that's the main thing, the main goal when we try to drifting and do some tandems and have fun. That's how it is. So it's like I need to send you I think this you didn't I think you didn't need to send it. So you just use this one. I might screenshot it and send it to you. Neck effect, you on it. I don't know if you, but with a neck effect, it's much easier to it's same like KX or other game. I mean, unless I'm using triple screen, then I didn't need neck effect because uh because everything I can see on side by side, right? So, but someone who using the just single screen, you need it. It's much practical or much better with neck effect. I'm gonna send this neck effect uh, setting. So you might need to adjust a few off here and there. It depends. You might need to adjust the this one, the steering. You might need more or less. It depends how on your POV, your angle POV and stuff like that. So, but this is like the less extreme in term of you using controller. It's more like the same like you know the KX follow KX use this neck effect idea and then apply it to the game, right? So it basically from this game the neck effect. So I kind of like make it close enough to the way I feel in KX or maybe little less. So that's how I like adjust it, but I didn't change as much because the tilt we doesn't need tilt is always 0 because you don't want the head to tilt left and right because we're not racing, right? Because when we're drifting our head tilt reverse invert, because when you're drifting left your head will tilt to the right because of the g-force. That's how it is, but instead of doing that I just off it, make it 0. So yeah, gonna go. Okay, I see you again next time. That's it, this one. Need to finish this race. Complete 40 points. I need 40 points. So I think I will finish this 2 race and then I will off stream. I'm playing guitar and stuff after this. So, light. Alright, begin. Go on. Car is super fast. Yeah, the curve is super dangerous in this map and this track. Super aggressive. First place. grip suit. the downhill. It's a bit worn out, maybe. Yeah. I still got a fuel. One point 46 and 3 250 2050. Yeah, I think that connects very like when 98. I just tried. Let's see. push a car like way too hard. Like 23 second gap. Grip at that corner, that section. I don't know why. Really quick. Hi, sliding. See that? Right. 2.03. Like 1 minute. 23 seconds. If I didn't crash, like spin up. 30 seconds. More than that. More or less. Oh, we have 2 more. How do you get 60 points? Please go to this. Like Monza and Spa. This Sakai doesn't matter. I can manage with tire management without problem. But yeah, continue again next time. We're gonna end the stream. Good day.